Perfect. So Erica Fargione is an award-winning faculty at Minneapolis College, formerly MCTC. She started the program there in 2006, and it has expanded into both a certificate and a diploma award in herbal studies. This program is actually the only award program in the US at a public institution offering financial aid and all the benefits of being at a community college. So it's really cool, really unique program. She's happy to be a steward of the most diverse herbal studies program in the nation. Our ancestors all use herbs, and all of us get to reclaim the apothecary that is this world. So without further ado, thank you, Erica.
Happy Wednesday. We finished 3 classes today and they're like done. So I taught all day and came here, and I get to be around a bunch of wonderful people. So it's always a little bit nerve-wracking to switch gears and then see new faces. But so I have been teaching for 17 years at Minneapolis Community College, and I've had many people run through the program, and I'm always looking forward to it. We just have made the diploma program, which is a 32 credit diploma, and then we have a 24 credit certificate that runs into the diploma. It is extremely diverse. I think the students that I have would attest to how diverse my classes are, and it just is it's just a gem, and I'm really happy to be a steward of that particular program. We're also starting a hands-on cannabis program starting in fall of 2025, where we're going to be growing cannabis and teaching people how to do all that stuff. So we're building the lab right now, a big grow room that's twice the size of this room, to grow cannabis, and do a training program for people to grow cannabis. So I'm allergic to cannabis. I can't touch it. I can't take it. I can't wear CBD. There's nothing, so I won't be a part of that at all whatsoever. I won't be able to even walk into the lab. So that's happening. So we're starting that. So look for that at Minneapolis College. And we have a wonderful instructor, Brian Jones, who's been very involved at the state level for cannabis and stuff. So that's kind of what's going on with our programming. Let's see, I'm a mom of 2 kids, 12 and 15. I don't know what's stopping. I've been doing herbs since 1997, after I took Lisa's first course in 1997, which I just got the evaluation forms that you ran into from 1997. Just in case. Yeah, so I've been doing herbs. I fell in love with herbs. I studied plants before I studied herbs. I studied environmental horticulture. And then when I found out that plants actually heal you, I was just like, whoa. like, oh wait, but I know that they're already my friends. But what do they do? It's like I've just been down that rabbit hole with my whole adult life since I was 19. And so then of course I had to buy land. So then I owned 130 acres in Southwest Wisconsin. And I did herbs there, and I had a clinic in Soldiers Grove, Wisconsin, and treated people. And then I left the farm in 2006 is when I started this program. So I left the farm in 2006, came back to Minneapolis, and I was like, I want to start a college program. And I only had a bachelor's degree. So I was like, I want a college program. So I worked with some people, and I got in somehow, like under the rug, or so, I don't know how I got in. The first program we started was an AAS degree. So it was a 2-year degree award of 60 credits. You did that one? No, yes, you did. Julia, Miriam, you did it too. Oh.
No, I was the second year.
You were the second year. You were the first. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Long time. But then they closed that program, and they said, well, there's no And I don't even know how we got the first program, but then they closed that program in 2009. And they said, well, we can't have an herbal studies program. Well, we call it something different than Western clinical herbalism. It was a really long name. They're like, we can't do that because there's no jobs in the field. Like, where are these people gonna get hired? Like, where are they gonna work? Like, what job are you training them for? Like, why would we give them loans? And so it turns out, so as I'm sitting there, basically fired, and I have a new baby, and I was like, well, okay, what do I do? And so then I figured out that the reason they're saying there's no jobs is because the US Department of Labor Statistics doesn't collect data on jobs in herbal medicine. Therefore, when the US Department of Education says what jobs do people have, there's no data. So I decided to make 26 phone calls a day for about a month. And I collected all the data in the United States for jobs on herbal medicine. And then I handed that to the Department of Labor Statistics and made a number in the Department of Labor Statistics job that could go to my program. And then contacted the US Department of Education and I said, I would like financial aid, look at all these great jobs. And so then once I got Pell Grants and financial aid and all of that stuff squared away, I went back to the college and I said, and here's the program I want. And they gave me a standing ovation of 100 people and they said, yes, you can have your program. So that is how that's how the certificate program got started. And sometimes you have to like do all the work for everybody else. And if you want something done, sometimes you just do it yourself. So now we've just been expanding and expanding and expanding this program because of people like you saying we need more classes.
We love it.
So we started with the diploma program. We added on the summer camp. So we had our first summer camp this summer, and so we basically just were outside all morning, and then we went into the lab in the afternoon and made stuff with it every like 2 days a week. So that was really fun. Summer camp was a lot of fun. We harvested everything in perfect timing, and I know you all are herbalists and like and interested in herbs and watching the plants, and like I'm just like, why the things that used to be a month apart harvesting now is like 1 week. Like you have to get like yarrow, elderflower, St. John, like all in 1 week, and it's just like crazy this new weather of ours. So anything else? Let's see. So I have a funny program, and I hope you have a handout. Oh, you can pass the handouts now. So so the reason I came to this topic is because when they asked me last, I think the guild asked me last December to do the following December, and so I had this like huge idea that I was going to bring in all of my students, and we were going to do like a pageant of all of the planets, and then talk anyway, and that didn't happen. I can't really pull that off. I was gonna have costumes and just like I was like the like the earth and the fire and air, and I was gonna have like a pageant and talk about it. And we didn't get there, but they wanted to. That my students wanted to do that, and so then I asked them, so what should I teach? Because I teach a lot of subjects. I actually teach every subject in the program. And I teach a lot of subjects, and I was, asking people this summer when we were in summer camp. I said, what should I teach for this class I have to do in December? So I've been thinking about this class for a while. And I said, what would be cool? And they were like, Erica, like your formulas. Like I said, they're like, Erica, we use all of your formulas. You should tell everyone about all of your formulas because they work. And like they're really cool formulas, and we've all tried them out and we put them on everybody and they work really well. And you should just give them all away, which is exactly what I've been here to do tonight. And I will talk about them too, but before that, the funniest thing is while I was making this thing, and actually a student of mine put together all of their notes and then gave me my formulas for me, because I don't write them down. So she went through all the notes of all the classes and I made a few tweaks on them, because I'm like, yeah, that's not quite my formula anymore. And, but anyway, so it was really kind of that student. Appreciate that. Okay. At least I didn't break it. I don't think. Okay. It's just not.
What happened was stable.
But then I was thinking about focus. I am not gonna cross, I'm gonna do that.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna trip and fall on the whole thing. I'm done. So I was thinking about formulas and I was like, well, I have a lot of favorite formulas, and some of my favorite formulas are not herbal formulas, but they're my favorite formulas because they're formulas that are about being an herbalist or like working with natural health, and their formulas about putting together the whole world. And like you all know this formula, right? This holistic medicine form, which in all earth-based traditions of healing, this is the formula of this is the strategy, this is the formula. You know, people are all these parts, like in all of these traditions, all these earth-based traditions that use plants, they treat the whole person as these earth-based traditions, right? This is a great formula. This is a great formula, and it tells us, you know, a lot of times where we can use plants in those traditions and different, you know, all the traditions kind of use plants definitely for the body, and a lot of traditions use plants for the emotions. And a lot of times plants, as we all know, will work on both body and emotions at the same time, which is some wonderful within this piece. Is this every thought I'm following? All right. All right. And it's really oh yeah. Good job. And I love this formula because, you know, but then you can look and be like, oh, like what, oops. Uh-oh. I can't get here, can I? Yeah. Well, here's. I can't get there. Okay. All right. There, okay, hold it there. You know, and there's some plants, I mean, there are some plants that work for spirits and some plants that work for the mind. Those are a little bit different plants. Those are the entheogens, probably or like, you know, the psychedelics and things like that, that work on those types of things. And we don't teach those at MCPC at Minneapolis College, but there's plenty of that within traditions. So we just teach these ones here in the body and the mind at MCPC. But what I love about this formula, about thinking about the body and mind, is we might just think of it like easily of just, you know, oh, it's just okay, some spirit, body, emotion, mind. But it's actually a strategy, which I just love about this formula here, because it's a strategy. I cannot. It's a strategy because it says that all those parts of ourselves are all connected. And that as someone that's working with people, you know, it's actually saying you can hit any part of this and make it all go and all balance. And it's a strategy. And within these earth-based systems of medicine, you know, people had more tools in their toolbox than just plants, right? They had a whole bunch of tools in their toolbox. They had food, they had stories, they had entheogens, like, you know, they had, you know, psychedelics, they had, you know, kind of all this stuff. And the strategy is so cool because it just says, you have to get to know the person and you have to know where to hit them to get the whole thing balanced and moving. It might be you hit someone with it on their body and it balances everything. You might hit them in their mind and it balances everything. Or their spirit, which is like a lot of studying that right now with the magical mushrooms and ayahuasca and etc. You know, or maybe like with their emotions, like balances the whole. You know, it's not a, it's a strategy that says there's a lot of avenues for healing. And that you can tweak one thing and the whole thing starts running better. So I like this formula. That's one of my favorite formulas of thinking about, like, just working with people and plants. And it's a formula in all traditional medicine systems. The basic formula. I like this formula. This formula I have thought about a lot, okay? And this is from my friend, Jennifer Nelson. She used to live by my farm, and she's quite an interesting person. And this formula is kind of an interesting one. So she came up with this formula for like all systems of like the kind of like healing spirituality, because we don't teach spirituality at Minneapolis College either, but you know, she talks about like looking at all the ancient systems and she tried to put it. I'm the only one that has this, so now I'm giving it away. One of my favorite formulas. And she has this thing of just how do you change yourself? Like, how do you change your mind? And how do you go through and become your whole self? And so it starts with discernment. And so what I was trying to do when she gave me the formulas, I was like, I wonder if there's a plant for each one. And then you could just like make a formula of all of those plants. And so I've been thinking about like, so I was like thinking about, okay, so the first thing that people have to do is when they like come in and they're you know, they're teenagers or whatever, different parts of different people's lives is, you know, you have to have discernment about what is you and what is not you. You know, is that like my thought, or is that someone else's thought, or is that put on me to think that, or like that kind of stuff. And discernment, you have to be able to know your own thoughts, or that they're yours, that they're your opinions, and that they're like discerning like what's going, like, you know, just who you are. And so the second level after the discernment is to get rid of the programming. Which, I mean, I suppose, so with discernment, I know this is like things that make boundaries. So I know the herbs for the discernment part. That's like the one I have. Those are the astringent herbs that create boundaries. And so they have like kind of that level. And then there's the get rid of programming. That's probably the magical mushrooms. That's probably those ones in there. But within it, like, but you know, there's lots of ways to get rid of program. But like that's the next step. You get rid of programming, and then you can like think for yourself, and then you start to understand the power levels of manipulation, which is part of the kind of an initiation into actually working with things, and that you can manipulate things in good ways or bad. And you can see how people are manipulating you in good ways or bad. And that's kind of the training of a lot of the traditional like shamanic healers in the rainforest, or you know, medicine people within tribes here. Is like, this is like probably the biggest part of the training is this understanding power levels of manipulation. And in many traditions. I love this formula. This is one of my favorites. And then once you figure that out, you can have faith in your personal power. And if you are lucky duck and you're really smart, you can get to the end, which I don't know. There are not too many people get there. This Slaverian spirit where you are completely, right? Martin, are you laughing? That one, if you get there, Martin, you let me know. So I don't know, I just like this formula because I think it's something to think about, because you know, what's the goal of healing? Like, what are we doing? What's the goal? What's the goal of me giving somebody herbs? What's the goal? Like, what am I trying to do? Like, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to get rid of pain? Am I trying to, you know, help this, that, or the other thing? Like, you know, what's the purpose? What's the goal? What's the goal of healing for for the, what is it, the holistic health wheel, I don't know what to call it, the holistic health wheel, let's call it, I'll name it that. Like, what's the goal of healing? Why, what are we doing?
I just joined, so I can be given host responsibilities, so we don't have, but
Okay.
this one should give me host responsibilities so
Okay.
that,
Okay.
can you do that? Oh, do you know what I mean?
I need to do something.
Yeah. Do you know how that goes, Rachel? Then I can deal with this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. It's fun to watch though. It feels like people are voting with me. Yeah, I know, when you have him talking like chicken. Yeah, Tim Robbins.
We get to go.
So, I mean,
I think
I
I'm
don't know,
myself.
wanted to ask.
I am asking.
Okay.
Look
So,
under Emily, Emily.
you kind of mentioned, isn't it to bring balance,
Because.
not only to, an individual, but then to communities. And then eventually, you know, the vision is one day that there'll be peace and balance throughout the whole earth.
That's beautiful.
So, I mean,
If people are balanced, the community can be balanced, therefore.
yeah, so I mean, I just think of that, like, when I work, I'm a Christian, and I go work and, whatever industry any of us are in, there's imbalances, there's, abuses of power, abuses of leadership, abuses of resources. And so there's a lot of, suffering and confusion, and so to be an educator like yourself, to bring, good information so a person can be responsible for whatever, you know, obviously, we can only do so much, but if one candle lights another, and another lights another, another lights another, then there's a huge difference.
I like that one, yeah. Wasn't exactly right, but I don't, it pairs well. Anyone else, goal of healing?
That the individual frees up their vitality and potential to become their truest and best self.
Yes, yes, yes. It's about, yeah, that's exactly where I was going. Very good. Yes, it is to find one's potential. You know, that's the goal of healing, is to be at the potential and be in the balance piece, and that is exactly what this is about, and that is exactly what the holistic wheel is about. And all that, and that might be just one moment in someone's life that they realize their potential, what they were there for, and it shows up, and it's not something that they're doing for the rest of their life. It might just show up in a moment. That they have the potential to do that thing, that one time, that one day, that 1 hour, that 1 minute. Or it might be something that's like all like their whole life. So that is exactly what the goal of healing is. But this, I just like these formulas. I'm gonna keep going. Oh. As long as I don't trip. So I guess this is, I like this, this is a reading, it's Portman and Garrett, Native American Healing Traditions, but they basically, I'll read it. Stated another way, everyone and everything were created with a specific purpose to fulfill, and no one should have the power to interfere or impose on others the best path to follow. Person's chosen way of life shows how to focus energies and how each person seeks a sense of harmony and balance among the interaction and interconnectedness of the four directions in relation to other living beings. So we, you know, just like understanding power levels of manipulation. And that's what kind of that discernment stuff is about, and things. So I don't know why this was what was going on in my head when I was like, I'm gonna write formulas. I don't know why this is what was going on in my head, but this is what was going on in my head. Haha. And okay, so this is another formula that I love, and this is from Robin Wall Kimmerer, and this is like one of my favorite formulas, and she talks a lot about this. There's like online videos of her talking about the teachings of the grass, and I mean, she's great. Yeah, Robin, right? Okay. And I like this because it's about relation, and I also think that this is about reciprocal relationships, like even if it's not just with like harvesting plants or just harvesting ideas, harvesting all sorts of things. And so see what she does, but never take the first plant, ask permission, listen for the answer, take only what you need, use everything you take, minimize harm, be grateful, share what you have taken, and reciprocate the gift. I just love this formula for right relationship, whether it's as an herbalist or as a teacher or just being in a right relationship with our planet, this is another formula. I really like handing this out to students. And, so that's another one. It's kind of self-explanatory. And this is my formula for teaching, which is I don't know why I picked this up, but I was having fun writing formulas, and I was like my rules of life. And this is our students this summer when we were doing summer camp. We made plantain, burdock leaf, like crazy masks for our face, and like smashed it on our faces and laughed at each other. So this is my formula for teaching, and I was thinking about why, and then I was like, why would I put up a formula for teaching? There's so many people here that are teachers and people that, and I think it's so important to teach people about herbs and about our planet and about the apothecary that our world is. I think that every single one of us, if you love the plant, you have like 5 to 10 more people we should tell about it. Because when we look at one of the formulas that I actually have, I do have herbal formulas for you, I promise. I promise. But you know, I just think that anyone that is looking at the natural world, or anyone that even knows how to identify the trees or you know, can interact with them, or knows how to make tea, or knows, you know, all of these things, like there's so many people that know it, and so many people that need to learn how to identify plants even, and learn what is in our world, because we're losing plants and people aren't paying attention. And there's one of the formulas that I have up for tonight is a formula where we might not be able to have that formula because that plant's gonna be gone because people don't care about the plants. And unless we start being teachers, unless we start like being people that talk to people and like share our knowledge, and then we're gonna lose that stuff. And as an herbalist, like, I don't want to lose any of the plants. And we're also losing heritage for, you know, just so many different cultures. So I put this up, and this is my formula for teaching. Give people tools that work, which is these formulas. I guarantee you they work. I have had many people try them. Give people tools that work. Encourage, empower, and embolden, because I need more people out there teaching. And so I'm just gonna light little, that's the lighting the candle, and keep lighting that candle going. Challenge people to use them. I have a really fun business class that just ended on Tuesday, and I really challenged them. They did not want that. They have like full teeth to like get them to like make decisions about their life and like all this stuff. And it turned out fantastic, and it was hilarious what happened. But and everyone is off to the races now, so it's been really fun. And let them show up as themselves. That's super important. That's like not manipulating people, allowing people to be themselves, especially in this work with like plants and healing and all that stuff, like allowing people just to do it their way, to do it show up as themselves. My program is really diverse. Like I think everyone shows up to it because they can get financial aid, they can get the GI Bill, people over 62 take it for free. And we have PSEO students who are 16 years old in my classes. We have like we have 72-year-old and 16-year-olds in my classes, and we all are hanging out together. And we have every single color under the sun in my classes. absolutely really fun. So let people show up as themselves. Whatever gender they want to be, whatever, you know, just whatever they want to be. Actually, the person who's teaching the cannabis program, Brian Jones, he was a student of mine in 2000, maybe 10. And he used to show up with socks that had Batman, like wings on the back, and then a Batman sweater with like wings on the back. And that's how he used to show up to class, Brian. I'd be like, wow, you even have Batman wings on your socks. He's like, so let people show up as themselves. Yourself, that's a hard one for teachers, I think, showing up for yourself, but showing up as yourself, as messy as you are is a good thing. Create community, make it fun. One good thing about teaching this particular subject is that everybody loves it and they want more and they have so much fun. I was in a class this summer, and I guess I'm putting this out there. I was in a class this summer with an herbalist that did not make it fun. And I was like, what are you doing? How can you take this subject and make it suck? And I was like, how did this happen? Who are you? So I just like, and it was, no, but I got him back. He started scolding me too. Like, and then I brought a student with me. I was like, did he just scold you? I was like, he did. And then, he had this like thing where he was things, and he had looked for evergreen and an evergreen flower forever. He was looking for the flower because he wanted us to like, show it, but I couldn't say the name of the plant or say that I knew what it was or anything like that. And he was offering it to like people to taste like one leaf, and then he was like showing the flower. And then I looked him right in the eyes, and I just grabbed the leaf and the flower and all of it, and I put it all in my mouth, and I was but no one was supposed to be talking, and then anyway, that was hilarious. So I got him back, but some people make it not fun, so don't do that to the plants. Plants are really fun. They will act if you. They will. So now my herbal formulas. So I kind of put them in together. This is why I love formulas. Formulas, when you nail a formula, you know you nailed it because it just like spreads like wildfire and it works on everything. And you can tailor herb specific person. We do that in classes as well. But I've had over the years, so I started practicing in 2000. So I don't practice anymore. I stopped in 2020 because I just got really busy. But I love formulas because once you get a good formula, like, and how I developed these formulas, a lot of them, some of them I stole from people, and I'll tell you who I stole them from. But the thing about formulas is like sometimes I don't have to think about it, and I don't have to like I have to just be like, oh, this is gonna work, and I know it's gonna work, and I can give this formula to a student, and it's gonna work when they use it, and they use it, and they use it, and then I don't have to like think so hard, and it's really fun because it is, and then they can just make when they get home, and they can use it and pass it on. And so these are some of those. And I do teach formulation in the college, and there are rules to formulation. So I'll bring some of those up when I show you, and I have them here for you as well. And so there are some rules. And then one of the rules is herbs are magic. That's rule number 1. They are truly magic. Truly magic. That's rule number 1. Okay, that's where you start. Okay. The uterus. All right, so this is the hot flash formula that I have. And I came into herbal medicine during the time of HRT going off the market and everyone looking for something for hot flashes, and then they were sold black cohosh. And then I got a lot of clients who were like, black cohosh sucks. And it's caused my neuralgia. I have like inflamed nerves and I'm really depressed and so I got a lot of clients that way. But a lot of people were going through hot flashes and they're upset and you know, it's kind of interesting, like hot flashes bother a lot of people. And then I started to try out different herbs and sage, and I was told by many different people that blue vervain was really good, and some people said just take motherwort, and then I did a lot of post testing in my office because I had a whole bunch of people that wanted treatment for hot flashes, like people that had hot flashes like every. It was driving them crazy. And so I developed this formula over maybe 10 years. It took me like of seeing clients and like really getting it. And then I didn't have to think about this formula anymore. They're like, hot flashes. Like that's it. Like here you go. Like for most people. So I put blue vervain, motherwort, lemon balm, and dandelion root, and I use tincture formulas. This would be a very awful tasting tea. This would be very bitter, very bitter. So and possibly if this doesn't do the trick for the hot flashes, I mean, there's wouldn't give this formula to, which that's different, but most people, if it doesn't work, if it hasn't slowed down their hot flashes, I add in peony root to it, and I just add it to the formula real quick in a quarter part. And then usually then we've taken care of it. And so I had a Delta airline, they don't call them stewardesses, my brain is flight attendant. New word. But I gave a formula, and then all of a sudden I had every single Delta flight attendant at my door. When I saw clients at my house, I had them at my door. I had every single Delta flight attendant that was going through perimenopause. I made a lot of money. I made gallons of this formula. Like I had to collect like gallons of blue vervain, gallons of motherwort, gallons of lemon balm, and one of the seriously like gallons. Anyways, so if you had a good flight about 10 years ago, they me. Okay. So yeah,
Would this be taken to treat a hot flash or a daily or something like that?
I usually have people, depending on when it is, you can do it at every single hot flash. You can do like so what it eventually does is it lessens the frequency. So like the gal is like every 15 minutes, like she just like would just have like hot flash. We eventually, after about like 2 weeks, it just like was kind of like once every 2 hours, and then started to go like every 4 hours, and then maybe she had them at night, so it actually reduces frequency. Yeah. And is that these three, so there's a lot of pairs out there for herbs. I think there's a lot of pairs out there for herbs. Not talk about that. But blue vervain, motherwort, and lemon balm are just like a triplet, and there could be a lot of triplets in the formula. This could be an anti-anxiety triplet. Lemon balm goes along with a lot of things. Lemon balm makes St. John's wort work better. Lemon balm makes skull cap and passion flower better. Lemon balm, I mean, there's so many things I pair lemon balm with, and it makes everything better. And I don't know how it works as a synergist necessarily, but I feel that adding lemon balm, and you can do this. So I figured all this out through pulse testing the herbs, which I learned from these, of just putting herbs on and then feeling the pulse. And I teach this at college. And and you can just feel it, like when you're pulse testing, you add lemon balm to it, like, ooh, better. And so I just started adding lemon balm to tons of stuff, and I usually have, when I'm formulating on someone's arm or something like that, I just seem like if they have lemon balm, they have skull cap, lemon balm, they have blueberry lemon balm, like I'll try it, and there's a few people that do not go along with lemon balm, most people do, so that's kind of how it is. What? There was one student I have right now, and she cannot sleep, she's up all night freaking out if she has lemon balm, which is totally bizarre, and that there are a few, there's always someone. I can't tell who that's gonna be. I don't know why, but just like there are people, yeah. Nauseous, okay, that's fair, yeah. That, this dosage, I usually like have a tincture bottle and I like take a quarter of it every dose. Like a quarter of a dropper, if it's a 1 ounce, not if it's a ounce. But it's a 1 ounce, I say a quarter, which that roughly is 10 drops. And that would be in the mouth. If you're putting it in water, I double it. Because it takes, the thing with the mouth, you get an instant reaction to it. And in water, it just takes a little bit longer. Let's go through the stomach absorption, stuff like that. But some people, and also there's a lot of people that don't like tinctures, so you can put this in tea, it works. You can actually, every single one of these, you can make a glyceride out of too, so there could also be a glyceride. And I haven't done that, but we make glycerides out of lots of things in classes, but it's a great formula, and I and then this is one of my newer formulas that I have developed. It took me 20 years to develop. It took me 20 years to test on like 800 people and get rid of people's period cramps, because I have been on a mission, because I was one of those teenagers that like couldn't go to school and was like rolling all over the place and in pain. And I did not want my teenage daughter, when she got her period, to go through that. And so I worked on this formula, and I call it my super fabulous menstrual pain tincture. Looks topical, but this is a tincture. So this one works so well, and it's just topical. You just take you call it liniments when you use a tincture topical, but I put a tincture on there, so whatever. And you don't even have to take it internally, you just put it on the tummy. And the neat thing about it is like, I grow and make all of this, all this stuff is here. Like, you have to grow feverfew in your garden, but it's a perennial in the shade. It's kind of cute and easy to grow, and it'll like spread for you. But like, and willow bark, I just keep loving willow bark even more. It took me a long time to really love willow bark, and now I love willow bark. I have it in almost all of my topical anti-inflammatory formulas. It's working fantastic, and it likes to pair with a whole bunch of other herbs. And so wild yam. So there's two pairs in this formula. And what I like to do with topical formulas for pain or inflammation is I like to pair up actions, because when you have hemp bark and wild yam as antibiotics, you are getting that spasm from 2 different ways. And that works better. I tell you, it works better. It is better. Like cramp bark works great. Wild yam and cramp bark, better. More powerful, more staying power, and you got it from 2 things. Yes.
Do you prefer lobelia?
Lobelia and fava. And lobelia, I'll talk about that in a minute. And then feverfew is a prostaglandin inhibitor. It's a high up on the chain of anti-inflammatory markers of where it hits on the anti-inflammatory. And willow is a little bit lower on that chain. It's a COX-1 inhibitor instead of COX-1 and 2. But when you mix 2, so I paired up 2 anti-inflammatories that work on different parts of that inflammatory cycle. So feverfew in the formula would be fine. And willow bark in the formula would also be good. But when you have two different anti-inflammatories that are anti-inflammatory on two different places, better. And I have tried this, I've been working on this formula, working on this formula. And then lobelia and cinnamon is also an anti-inflammatory. But it's also a synergist in this formula because it gets it into the blood flow when you put it on topical. And if you put it in your mouth, it would make this all taste better. I hate the taste of plant bark. Well, I can't say that. Whoops. It's sorry. It actually makes it smell better too, because when you put plant bark on your body topically, the cats will get really excited about you. It smells like cat pee. It kind of smells like cat pee. It's like valerian, you know, like it smells kind of intense. So the cinnamon makes it smell a little better. And then I put lobelia in there because I was taught by folks that it is a compass plant. That was probably you, wasn't it? Yeah, not you, yeah. So I was taught, because I'm a Minnesota herbalist. In the Minnesota herbalist world, lobelia is a compass plant, and it's true. And you don't have to put lobelia in this formula, but if you do, it will work instantaneously. And this formula works. So I had a student come in. So I do this weird thing where students are at my house, even though I teach at the college. So anyway, and they come to my yard and we do all the gardening. We have my yard and work, because the college could give me a garden, but like then I have to like go there, and it's just easier to garden in my house. So anyway, I know it's a little silly that I have students in my house, but so anyway, I had a student come, and we were actually just doing like we were doing pulses, and she normally was like kind of bubbly, and she was just always, and she just looked right in the face, and she came in and she sat down, and she was quiet the whole time, and we were sitting at the table, we were doing pulse testing, and then I put my fingers on her pulse, and I was like, she had that pain pulse, like that, like 9-8 level of pain is a pulse where it's just sunk, and you just know that person's. I looked at her, I was like, "Are you in a lot of pain?" She was like, and then she just started crying. She's like, "I didn't know I could. My fibroid pain is so bad and my cramps that I didn't know that I could get pants on and get over here today." And I was like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "I know why you're here, because you're gonna try the super fabulous pain tincture for me right now." Right now. And so I got her bottle. Go upstairs to the bathroom, take your pants off, and put this all over your belly and come right back down and see how long this takes. And she's like, "Okay." And she went upstairs, and then she got her pants back on, and then she came downstairs into my living room, and she's like, "Is it supposed to work instantaneously?" I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "Yeah, no." She's like, it worked the second I put it on. Like, she's like, I was in so many, she's like, my pain level was level 8. Like, I almost felt like I was not puke. I didn't know if I could walk up your stairs. And I was like, "Yeah, it works instantaneously." And she's like, so then she goes off from the house. She goes away from the house. And I knew it was going to work instantaneously because I worked with a lot of people. But you know, it's nice to try, and I've used it with people with endometriosis and like all sorts of stuff like that. And so then she goes to work, and then everyone in her work, "Do you have cramps?" She's like, "You know what? I like got rid of like 5." She texted me like, "I got rid of 5 people's cramps at work with your formula." Super fabulous. Okay, but
You said lobelia
In
a compass plant. What is that? What do you mean by that? It's in the family of plants, or?
lobelia inflata is a type of lobelia. It's also called Indian tobacco. It's about yay big in our stretch of the woods. The flower is very little. It tastes acrid. It tastes like tobacco, like if you just chew a cigarette. But that one, it's harder, it's been harder and harder to find, and I've tried to grow it in my yard, but it's been harder and harder to find. I mean, I put seeds out, I do guerrilla gardening in Theodore Park. So I've never mind. Deerwood Park, if anyone's wondering, there's a lot of elderberry plants too in Deerwood Park. I don't know who planted those. Anyway, so
So you were asking compass, right? Like, what do you mean by compass?
compass, it tells the plant where to go. It puts it in the body. So like, say you had, oh, sorry, I didn't get the question. So let's say you had a broken knee and then you have a cast from here to here. And you can't put that tincture or the herbs like right on your broken knee because you have a cast. You could put that herb here, it will go to that broken knee. You could put that herb here, it will go to that broken knee. You could put that herb here, it will go to that broken knee. So like that's how the compass connected. Okay, next one. You guys are gonna remember that formula, right? Okay. Don't let the readers hurt. This one I wanted to talk about why it's important to talk, why it's important to teach, why it's important to tell people about plants. This is an amazing formula for fertility and for helping people conceive, and also for helping people that have habitual miscarriages and helping them get through their pregnancy. And this really beautiful boy was born in September because this formula. And this person, the mom had 5 miscarriages prior, and then finally tried out mother's cordial, and a beautiful, lovely, healthy baby boy in September. And that story is again and again and again with this formula.
How long do you find you have to take it into the
She did 15 weeks. Mhm. And then went full term. And the sad thing about this formula is that you do need to have false unicorn root in it to work. And that's the sad thing, because false unicorn root is becoming in danger because people don't care about plants. And it grows in areas that people either farm or they build houses on because it likes to grow in flat areas. And it's not really adapted to invasive species. And it needs fire. So because we have fire, it doesn't, it can't grow, it can't compete with the other plants. And it actually needs that fire suppression to like come back. And it's the seed germination on this is like 2%. So like it doesn't, and seeds take 3 years to germinate, even if they do. Like, so this is and we use the root of false unicorn. Which means we take the whole plant, and the root is a kind of a taproot looking thing, so you can't, like, it's not like you have to make sure we can take part of the plant and put it back in and take this, or blue coal hash, you can take, you can like chop it in half and put part of the plant and keep going. Problem with this formula, it works really well. And actually, when I used to work with a midwife that worked with Amish people, so I did Amish births in at night on a kerosene lantern. But the Amish, this is the formula that they're using to have pregnancy after pregnancy after pregnancy after pregnancy after pregnancy. So this false unicorn root is getting used a lot. And this is why it's important. I mean, this formula is really old too. This is not my formula. This is a very old one. The partridge berry, the Nutella, cran bark. Cran bark helps stop miscarriages. Okay, but it works better with partridge berry. Partridge berry is not an antispasmodic though. It's like it's a uterine tonic effect to it. Blue coal hash is, oh, I spelled everything. Sorry, not coal hash. Coal hash. I have it right on your form. But blue coal hash is an antispasmodic. There's also a uterine tonic effect to it, and blue coal hash in small amounts is really uterine tonic and building up to it. false unicorn root, I don't even know what exactly it does. I mean, I've looked at all the eclectic writings from the 18th century. And it's, this one, we are dealing with so many fertility issues like currently, like in our culture and all of that stuff. If we lose that one, like, I like to say, like, I've gotten a lot of people pregnant. Is what I like to say. That's how I like to say that, like. But, you know, I mean, if we lose that one, like, that's, there isn't a replacement for false unicorn. Like, it's magic, like, and true unicorn root is also endangered. Well, in my opinion, as false unicorn root does, for increasing fertility and conception and things like that. But I mean, the amount of money people are spending on fertility issues. And I was, you know, I always, whenever someone does like, you know, eventually like go like farther in term, I'm like, you owe me $20,000. You have a baby. I see it. I want $20,000 for that. Anyway. The musculoskeletal. So there's two reasons I really got into herbal medicine. One is that I had a painful uterus. And two, because I had a painful body. And when I met Lise, I got hit by a car at 60 miles per hour on my left side. And I had migraine headaches where I had to be in a dark room with no sound. I was 19 years old. And I was in a dark room with no sound, and I couldn't go to a job really because it was hard to work, but I still worked and things like that. And Lise gave me cold root. You're laughing. Yes.
Experience.
Yeah. And and that really changed my life. And then you can and also I'm really accident prone, so I've had 8 concussions, I've broken like every bone in my body, and which like I'm also, you know, I just like I've broken both femurs, both elbows, actually both elbows at once one time. And like I just had just about like everything. I've had my head stapled shut, stitched shut, I've had just about everything you can imagine. I've had the worst case birth scenarios, my children, like just like everything got crazy with that. And so like this is really important. These are the herbs I use a lot. Okay. And so do my children, like they are not like these are the herbs. And so but there's some, I'm starting with my newer formula with this one, I think. I can't tell though, I see it, yeah. So this is one of my newer formulas that we've been developing actually in the herbal pharmacy lab at school, and we've been trying it out. And now I think there's in the Twin Cities who are receiving this for a Christmas present. I think this year, I think there's a whole bunch of this formula getting made and been like going to houses for Christmas because it works so very well as an antispasmodic. And it basically, we just put it in oil. We like actually heat it up in a crock pot and put all the herbs. We put dried herbs into the oil, and we heat it up for about 45 minutes and very, very low. You're not deep frying herbs. You're just kind of like, you know, like go low and slow. The only difference in this formula when I make it is that the solomon seal. I have found that I have been trying to figure out how to get solomon seal to work really well in an oil, because drying it doesn't get me exactly what I want with it. So I found out that I make a tincture with solomon seal, and then I take the mark. So I take the roots from the tincture, and then I boil in the oil. And that works better as an oil for solomon seal, and it doesn't go rotten on you. The oil won't go rotten on you, and the solomon seal works better that way.
And is that because you're not using fresh solid, so these are first place, you're using it hard, so you.
No.
Fresh.
No, I'm using fresh roots. This is fresh roots that I took out of, I've made a tincture.
it seems like you're trying to solve a problem that's the drivers that work out. But if you have, if you lucky and have fresh solids in the root that you can use, you're probably okay.
I'm okay, this works better. I've tried it both, I've done both ways. Yeah, no, both ways. I tried it many ways. I'm always playing around, but, and I don't know when I figured that out. I think I was out of solid steel fresh, like over the middle of winter, and I just decanted a tincture, and I was like, wow, this works for me. So it's like a happen chance. But anyway, this formula has agrimony, which is an anti-spasmodic, with betony, which is for muscle pains. It works really great on muscle pain. It's a muscle relaxant. Quaking aspen as an antispasmodic, but a very acting antispasmodic. Bark. And quaking aspen also is a diaphoretic, so it gets it into the blood system, it gets the blood moving and warms up the area in this really bizarre, weird way. I don't know why. Solomon seal, just because it feels good, it should be on everyone's top. We should just put it on everything topical. And it's a moistening part of this thing as well. Skull cap as an antispasmodic, and lobelia in this case as an antispasmodic, not as a contraspasmodic. And you can do salve or tincture or topical oil. And yeah, this one, we had 4 massage therapists in class, like last herbal pharmacy. We made a ton of this. They're like, can we just make even more? And I was like, okay, what is my gallons of this? And the salve works great too. Tinctures, topical, the oil or sap takes your body a little while to kind of soak it in. So it's like you need, so when I have this formula, I have used, I was working with, I think I started developing this formula. I was working with someone who has MS, but has such severe restless legs. And it's like super painful, and they have tried everything, like absolutely everything. And so I made a tincture of this formula, and it's the only thing that has ever relaxed the legs. And so they can take it at night before like the pain and all that stuff starts.
So what kind of skull cap is it?
I think it's probably close to lateral-folia. I have to figure out which one's growing in my yard.
Yes. Are you, when you say one part, are you can show by weight and volume.
Volumes. And or yeah, I kind of like, I'm not, I mean,
Volume?
well, and when I say one part, it's like if you're filling up your tincture bottle, one part this, one part that, one part. Yeah, I got it. I'm telling everyone else, but not you. Yeah. All right. My broken bone remedy. This one. I should call them super fantastic. Because it's super fantastic. You know that, Julia. I just used it on. Yeah, it's by super, I should have put that on there. This is an older formula, I don't have like fancy names from. And this one, I have gotten to go out of so many surgeries. This is another one where I'm like, I do only $16,000, like not 80, like $80. And I'd be like, we don't have to go to any surgeries. I was like I should sell this for 15,000 is what I should do. And just that's kidding. No, I have to figure it. But so I have many stories to this formula. And when you read a book, and I don't know if I've read these books, so I've read these books that say bone set is not for broken bones. Like just laugh. No, bone set is broken bones. Like that's all you want. If that's the only thing in your formula, bone set. For broken bones. Like absolutely hands down. And there are books out there that say that it's not for broken bones. I'm just like, what? Yeah, it's right in the name, right? So that Eupatorium perfoliatum, Solomon seal again, it's really nourishing for the bones. It helps with tendons. It's mucilaginous. Mullein is amazing. And Solomon seal and mullein are a base pair for probably every good herbalist formula for the body. Topicals. St. John's wort as an anti-inflammatory, willow as an anti-inflammatory in this formula. Mullein also heals broken bones too, just on its own. So it's like here's a dual pair of bone set and mullein for the, and then a dual pair of just like healthy ligaments, joints, and fluids, and giving and anti-inflammatory, both of those as well. And then 2 anti-inflammatories. I love St. John's wort for muscles, joints, and bones as an anti-inflammatory and willow topical. And then horse chestnut. So this can't be taken internally because you can't take horse chestnut internally. This is a topical.
And we're using the chestnuts.
I have figured out I don't have a picture of it. I use the horse chestnut buds of the flower. And the funny thing is after the tornado hit my neighborhood, they planted one whole block of horse chestnuts for me. And so they're all about yay high. I was like, thank you, park board. One whole block of torch, and it actually has like the name tag on it, so it's I didn't have to like positive idea, like, cause they have like the tag on it. And my neighbors are just, my neighbor's like, what are you doing? So horse chestnut gets rid of the swelling. Okay, so horse chestnut, so with a broken bone, you're gonna have like so there's one client I had who I had to go house visit her because she couldn't drive or anything, and she had broken her kneecap at work. And then she went into the doctor and they put on a cast like all the way up her leg, and her leg on outside of the cast was like this big swollen and like just like kind of like going, just like there was like pressure on it. Like they put the cast on and then her leg swelled up. Horse chestnut. Like right back down instantaneously. Yes, this is the tincture formula, but chestnut will take down just on its own, if it's only swelling, it will like take down and it also works, horse chestnut works for legs and feet, to swelling that, and any swelling from broken bones or sprains or anything like that. So that's always in my formula, because taking down the swelling is super helpful for healing it. Anyway, within 3 weeks, she was supposed to get surgery for this like smashed kneecap. And I told her, I was like, put it on like 20 times a day. and like she was because of Lobia, we have a compass plant. She was just putting it on the top of her leg, and she was supposed to get surgery in 3 weeks. And she went to the doctor 2 days before the surgery to get an x-ray. And he's like, we don't have to do any surgery. She's like, Eric, is this real? And I was like, yes. And she was supposed to get she was scheduled for 3 different surgeries because I couldn't do all the surgeries at once. And I was like, now you owe me 3 times 16,000. And all of the 6 months that you lost, we're gonna lose from work. Because now you can go to work. Like you can. So it's a great formula. I've had many, I have a lot of x-ray evidence of this too, because people send me to x-rays. So this one, if you're ever in doubt, we'll use this formula. Yes.
Is it mullein root or?
Mullein, okay, so for mullein, you can do a lot. Mullein, there's a lot of places you can harvest. And
Or just like which part do you?
I harvest the whole stalk and then I cut the seeds off because the seeds have some toxins in them. And so I cut the seed head off of the mullein and I use the whole stalk and the root when I tincture it. But you can use leaf only. You could use, I don't like the root without the leaf for some reason. I really like the, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right to me to take just the root. And also, have you ever tried to cut one of those roots? Like you got a chainsaw and yeah. If you only did a root tincture, oh, horrible.
I'm curious about comfrey. And your thoughts and
I'm a
experiences
weirdo
with
about
that.
country. I'm not the biggest fan of country. I don't know, I have some, I have a Ukrainian comfrey growing in my garden and I take I take the flowers off of it. Because if you put it in with your potted plants, it makes them all root and grow really nicely. So I just put the leaf in my potted plants, I put it in your potting soil mix, and it makes roots grow really awesome. And I'm just like, so if you like, if you're taking your aloe and like putting it into a bigger pot, you just like put some comfrey leaf in there and that will make the roots grow super duper fast.
Is it because of the pyrrolizidine alkaloids that you avoid using it?
I mean, sure, no, but I don't like things, you don't wanna heal things super fast. You need your plant to root that fast, and you might need, I could probably use some on my skin right now after this burn that went through there, and I could put some, that might need to heal faster than it is, like, a blister on the back of my heel because of bad shoes, that might need to heal real fast. So that's where I use comfrey. More homeopathic, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything about comfrey homeopathic. Did it? Okay, thanks. Cool. I have a, I don't know, where? Oh.
Just say that at present moment, I learned about those about the alligator. What bones, homeopathic vitamins.
Homeopathic symphytum.
Yeah, we're about 30 or so. Usually just everything like the place that we just help about cells.
Salsa, yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, 10 minutes. Here we go. Really fast. All the other formulas are great too. I'm gonna, okay, backache remedy, pretty much like the broken bones, except I have. Pretty much like the broken bones, but I add in, and I'm not gonna.
We're believing that accent whole thing, you don't have to keep proving.
The backache remedy, this is really great. Just trust me on this one. It's very similar to the other remedies that I added teasel in there. The bone set, so you'll see with a lot of my topical formulas. With a lot of my topical formulas, I do solid steel and on for like big bones. Yes, willow bark. Yes, willow. Yep, willow bark. From the willow, the Salix albotristis. So I use just that's basically what I use. I use weeping willows, and I use the branches off of weeping willows. And I like when the park board plants those because then you can like get the big tree. So like there's like I always look for like where they planted like new weeping willows. Maybe like 10-year-old weeping willows. So I just like that. When you're a herbalist, you just drive around and like that's how I found it.
Is there any time of year to collect some bark?
Spring or fall, but willow I have found if you taste it and you get that willow taste, like that aspirin like taste, is probably fine. Well, maybe it might not be in the middle of summer as strong as it would in the spring or the fall, but if you need it and you taste it, so what I do with willow is if I taste the trees that I go and then find one that tastes the strongest.
Could you substitute like the curly willow?
Taste it. Just go taste it. Go taste it. Go taste my. This is what willow. This what did I say? Weeping willow. Go taste the weeping willow, and then with taste it. You really have to refine your taste on willows.
And then you scrape off the bark, you get the green part, right?
Yeah, and willows you can almost like in the springtime you can just like peel off the bark because it's so. It's just like it just comes right off. Okay. T-shirt or oil. T-shirt or oil. T-shirt works. Okay, and all of these grow here, which is this is my formula, it's very Midwestern formula, okay, if we were somewhere else, they would look different. Pain, the only thing I'm changing in my neck pain formula, we have our pairs of the Solomon seal and mullein for the bones and joints, tendons, blah, 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 anti-inflammatory, and then we have my two anti-inflammatories, I always pair those on all of my topical supplements. They are anti-inflammatory in two very different ways. The only thing I add is blue vervain, specific for neck pain. That's my neck and shoulders and like all that little area of the body and then it's done. So, okay, I'm gonna kind of skip ahead because we only have a few minutes. So I'm gonna go to nervous system. This is one of my favorite formulas. This is David's weekly formula. He sells it, but you can make it your own. And this is for the nervous system. This is one of my favorite formulas, especially just how much stuff people have been going through, like after 2020, and just like all this stuff. And it has hawthorn and rose, which are a common pair. Hawthorn works better with rose every single time. There's a one time when it doesn't work better with rose. Okay, so that is a primary pair. Whenever, you know, they have a tea, like they have a hawthorn hibiscus tea, that's really nice. Add rose, works better. Works better from the heart, works better. Like I think that's like a traditional hibiscus tea they have. Yeah, hibiscus and hawthorn. Add rose, just add rose. It'll work better for you. You'll feel better. But this formula, and then mimosa is the Chinese happy tree, the jalfrezia, and that does not grow here, but maybe soon, maybe like 10 years from now, when the climate changes to a six grow here, because it's a very invasive tree, so you don't have to feel bad about harvesting it. Berry.
I've done, and it works.
Very deep.
Just the two.
Yeah, just the tubes, yeah. The Chinese happy tree, this is like lifts you up just a little bit. Oh, you know, it's like it makes you just a little bit like a little extra. And it's just a family, but you know, you could also put lemon balm in there too, if someone's really anxious. And the mimosa, I like it, but this is the one where like someone is so down, they're not getting off their floor, they're not getting out of bed, they're not doing the things that they need to be doing. They, you know, when they come over to your house, they are in tears. You know, you're like trying to feed them, you're holding and hugging them, you're like moving them along. This is that formula, but it can also be a general formula too, just for even like going through, just like, I think it's a good formula for like little shell shocks too, from trauma, and like there's like they don't fit in anywhere otherwise, so that's a neat one. Okay, oops.
Okay, one question, tea tincture?
This one's made into a tincture. You can make it into tea. Okay. I don't know the mimosa flowers. I never made tea with them. I've had people, there's people that were in North Carolina, which they haven't sent me any this year for good reason, but they would harvest mimosa flowers and send it to me. Yeah. Okay. Pairings for sleep. I'm gonna skip that, sorry. This is I'm skipping pairings for sleep. Yeah, so what? Oh, when I'm done, I'll do that. Okay, all right. Panic. I maybe you all leave after I did that aside. After I slipped through that. All right, so the panic one, this formula I have developed over really many years. I've worked with a ton of different people. And I actually like to have this in my classroom when people do their presentations in case someone like totally flips out. Because one time I had a student and they totally panicked and they ran out of the room and they went to the registrar's office and they dropped my course. Like, they worked so hard for the class. I'm like, you could talk to me, like, you didn't have to get up there, like, you could come step back down, like. But he ran out and like dropped the course like in a second. But anyway, so, you know, wild lettuce on its own is wonderful for you. And panic attacks and there was a time when that's all I used to get. But then through just kind of pulse testing and working with people and finding out like what was happening with different. Decided, the first thing I started adding to it was wooden flour. Which is kind of interesting because I think about wild lettuce is really like chest and like that kind of like pain and the hips and stuff. But then like lemon brings it into the heart too, and it calms down the heart and like kind of all that pressure. And it's mucilaginous, and it's not so drying, and it kind of balances out how drying the wild lettuce is to me, and it just like kind of like juices it up a little bit and it's grounding. But it,
I just remember Paul read it off. I would say that linen flour is antidepressant.
and yeah, antidepressant as well, yeah. I'm very grounding, and in many ways, so every time I test someone for wild lettuce, I always test linen right afterwards, and this is how I get my formula, so they all be like, wild lettuce looks nice, how about with linen? Oh, better, and it always does, and I don't know why. So I can't say I can figure out why that works. And then egg hormone for feeling of either like you can't, like you're in panic and you can't control yourself from just like not showing it. So there's you stutter or just can't. Like, it's wonderful for that. It's anti-spasmodic, and grounding, and helps. I would also say this formula too, is one of disassociation. And kind of like people that like are gone and they laugh to ground people. And then baking acid, which is a really bitter one. But it will actually get quaking acid is one of my favorites for disassociation. Which is why it's in this formula too. But I love adding baking acid. This will really take things down a notch.
Use bark.
Bark.
What species of wild lettuce do you use?
You can use any. You can.
There's so many, I like them.
Yeah.
Do you have a
can-
favorite?
My favorite is the one that's in my yard. I don't have to go for a walk.
Fair, thank you.
That's a favorite.